Uh, just tell me whether you are able to follow. Okay, the screens are opening properly. So
Arvind, I would like to discuss two things.
yeah. Yes. Yes, tell me. Yeah, sir. Like someone wanted to discuss. Like if you could. Yes.
Arvind?
Yes. Yes, Imran, tell me.
So one was that SAP information, SAP login was sent. Yeah, so I installed the GUI, but then I was unable to connect to the system. So one was that issue.
Oh,
And second thing was I have not received the recording for the last session which we discussed on Saturday.
yeah, the last session it was too confusing. So much discussion was going on. I thought better not to send it and rather take it again. That's the reason I have not sent it.
Okay.
And maybe the
And who's
connectivity
going to
issue.
help us on this login
Yeah,
information?
this login issue, like just try to reach the institute people first. If they are delaying it or anything, you can ping me and I can pitch in and help you. Okay with that?
Okay.
Yeah. So like just
Yeah, I sent them an email, so
okay.
there was no reply, but I'll wait.
Okay, maybe the concerned person like Narendra, right? That was the person through whom uh, uh, we all got connected. That person is on vacation, I guess, for 2 or 3 days. So maybe uh, I'll just see after the class. So just remind me once we are done so that I can check it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So like I request everyone to just concentrate fresh from today. Like just forget about whatever we had in the last class, the subject and other thing. L- Like I will just explain you again so that we can continue. Hello, hearing me, right?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, fine. So as I just said, I'm sorry for the disturbance, but I was sorting out this connectivity issue. Okay, so let me take you back to the previous class. Okay, one thing I request is like some of you have joined midway, so I don't know proper introduction with them. But like some people I know, like Imran, I know like he has done some other courses. Currently, is working in MSBI and what are his future plans?
Your voice is breaking.
Okay. uh, no, what I was telling is I know about Imran because we interacted during the demo that what is he currently doing is into MSBI, his experience and he has completed certain other courses. What is his future plans? Likewise, I know about couple of other people like Sunil, I know like Malli, like few people like maybe mostly like Mamta has joined in the place of Muduraja and Sharma and Mr. Harish have joined middle. So I don't know about them particularly. So that's the reason some sort of this information gap might be there. So I'm unable to reach them. That's the reason I requested, like I even mailed Harish many times to just reach me so that we can introduce. Likewise, like I also wish Mr. Sharma and Mamta also to reach me either on phone or through Skype so that we can introduce and I can get to know like what is the purpose of choosing the course, what is their background, functional and technical. That's it. Okay. Now, and moreover, like since some of them have joined,
Arvind,
yes, yes,
Arvind, This is Sharma. So,
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't see that kind of mail. So what I'll do is after this class, I will definitely reach out to you. Okay?
yeah, I have sent couple of times to Harish, but maybe he's not responding.
Maybe you send it to Harish.
Yeah, I didn't
Maybe you
like.
send it to Harish. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, sure.
sure.
Like you.
I'll reach out to you.
Okay, sure. That's it. Like it's a basic thing which I am
Naveen,
asking.
yeah,
Like,
this is Sunil Singh here.
yeah, yes,
I know that I missed a couple of classes, but I was going through the videos.
yeah,
And then only class that I could not able to hear was the last one. I didn't have the video for that one, um, but right now I'm back to my normal schedule, so I'm going to continue to attend the classes.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
once
moreover,
the class is done,
yeah,
that I'll talk to you on Friday.
yeah, yeah, sure. That because this gives a good understanding. I can understand each student separately what are their needs and requirement. I can proceed. Like I have to take all of them as a whole and I have to proceed. That's the reason it will help me. And moreover, like I request like people who have joined little late to go through the previous recordings once, because I am in the frame of mind that we have covered so and so things previously and I'm continuing. Maybe you might not have gone through and you would get a doubt. So that's the reason I request to go through the previous ones. Nevertheless, let us start it. So class 8. If you see in the class 8, like just like sometimes what happens is not every concept is very simple. Some concepts are little complex, but it's not that we can leave them. End of the day, like now or in the future classes also, we should come back to that concept and cover it rather than postponing it and leading to larger confusion. Let us put some efforts now and try to understand a little complex concept. Okay, it is complex, so maybe while teaching you might not grasp it. Just go through the recording once and maybe if possible try some hands-on. Then you will definitely grasp it. So just this concept might be that whatever info object we are talking, the tables, that is little confusing. So maybe little more technical. So someone is not who is not good in technical is facing some issue. So just hold on and try to complete this topic. It would be helpful for us to have a complete view in the future classes. So this is a class 8 and the class 9. Okay, where is the class 9? Okay, here. So what like first we saw about key figures. How many different types of options are there in key figures we saw. Each option when we will use, we saw that key figure point of view we completed. Time characteristics we completed. Technical characteristics we saw. Unit characteristics we saw. We completed all this. Now we are just left with the main object called the characteristics. So in characteristics, as we know, there are so many tabs. So we have to go tab by tab. One or two tabs might be little complex, but just give it a try. Let us complete that. So RST1. So we saw initially zero material. Okay, if you have gone through the previous recording also, you would see that we have taken zero material as an example. And first tab we completed, that what is this data type and length. How many different data types are there? In which scenario we will use which data type. These things we have completed the length. I have opened in the R3 side table and shown you that in the R3 side the field is having the similar properties. So that's the reason the BI info object is also having the similar properties. And we even saw what is conversion routine. So this part we have seen. Just let us see this SID table. So there are many kinds of.
Alvin, quick question.
Yes, yes, yes.
This slash bio slash OIM material. This is the namespace of. These are defined in a namespace, right? Which the SAP deliver for like standard content, and then there is
Yeah,
some namespaces which they
yes,
deliver for customer or partners, and
yeah,
some of them we define.
yeah.
I
So
was just trying to understand that
yeah,
namespace.
yeah, good question. So what we need to do, we have seen that anything which starts with zero, that is a standard object. Anything which starts from A to Z, we can keep call it as a custom object. Moreover, custom object, as we discussed, most preferable, it should start with Z. Okay, so this is the thing. Now what is happening is, this is a master data thing. In database also there is a certain table which is having a structure similar to this. So that the thing is called as this data element. We saw, right? We have a domain, then a data element. So whenever we have these standard objects, we have something called this. If it is a custom object, we have, like, let us say the custom object is Z material. It will be of the form like this. So so anywhere you see slash BIC, C stands for customer. So all customer created objects, the table naming convention would have BIC. All standard objects would be having slash BI0. Okay, so this is one way you can find out by the table names. Object names we know. By the table names also you can say that anything which has slash BIC, it is a this one custom object. Okay, now obviously for this everything is slash BI0. Okay, the people in the initial classes, they get confused with 0 and O. Like, we should be careful that it is 0, not O. Okay, that is one thing. Now we are seeing something called as an SID table over here. So this this characteristics, as we saw, it is having so many tables. We should get used to what each table says, so that in future topics it is useful. So this SID table, what is the naming convention for this? Like this, slash BI0. Yes. Okay. First of all, what do we mean by SID? Surrogate ID. Okay. Surrogate ID. Okay. What do we mean by surrogate ID? Let me open a custom object which we have designed. Z purchasing 95. Okay. Let us maintain some value. As we know, it is having master data and text. You can see this small box, and from outside only we can say that it is having master data and text. So when it is having master data, we can either load it through the BW data flow, or we can maintain it. As I told you, for small values, 5 or 10 values, we can maintain it. If it is thousands, millions of values, we can load it using the info package, DTP, that stuff. So maintain. So Okay, okay. Just bear with me today. So okay. So so RST1 Z purchasing. I want to maintain an entry over here. So I'm clicking on maintain, clicking on execute. Okay. So what you need to okay. So let me create a new entry over here. So 1003 and purchasing organization is 30. Fine. So we have maintained one entry. Let us save that entry. Whenever you see, you just observe, whenever you are first entering it, two occurrences are there. You should not worry about that. Just save it, come out, then click on execute. Now it is fine, right? So what is the entry we have done? This is the entry. Okay, let me open it simultaneously in another session. Okay, display. Now let us see this SID table. Okay, what does this SID table have? Okay, if you just notice, whenever we are talking about any table, you should make it an habit to see what is the fields in the table and what is the primary key. So in this table, the primary key is this purchase order. So one of the field is this purchase order and another field is the SID, and these are the other fields. So to see the contents, click on this button. Okay. Whenever you are viewing any table, if you want to know how many entries are there in that table, you can click on this. Okay. And click on execute. So just tell me how many materials we created. We created 3 materials, or if you take an example of today, we created this 1003 material. Okay. What is the purchase order for this? 1003. What is it storing inside? For 1003, system is storing as 4. For 1002, system is storing as 3. 1001, system is storing as 2. This is nothing but the SID. SID is nothing but internal numbering form mechanism. So even though, like let us say if I am uh, running a report on this, if I want to see the 1003 purchase order, from my point of view, what we are thinking, system will go to 1003 and pick up that value, but that is not happening. System internally deals with SAP SID, especially SAP BW system deals with this SID, surrogate ID. So whenever we are asking for 1003 also, system internally is pulling out the SID related to it. Okay, whatever calculations, filtering, anything which we do, it is happening because of the SID. So when will this SID generate? Whenever I am loading some value corresponding to that, an SID will be generated in the SID table. Okay, this time we manually maintained an entry. So for maintaining one entry, corresponding SID got stored in the SID table. If you maintain one more entry, you can see it. You would be more comfortable if you maintain one more entry. 1000, like to 1088. Let it be like that. 50. Okay. So we have maintained one more entry. First save it. Now if you refresh this table, what we are getting for 1088, internally system is storing as 5. So whenever we are running a report asking for 1088, system is pulling out 5 only related. Okay, so system is identifying the number based on the SID. So this is an internal SAP BI concept.
Question.
Yes.
So BIC, the 1088, is this a primary key or no?
Yeah, obviously. In this table.
Okay. So this will be unique.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Okay. So what about the SID? SID is also unique.
No, we cannot say like that because this is a internal mechanism, and we can't even say that it follows a correct order. Depending on now, simultaneously, no one else was creating. So that's why it has given this correct order. If multiple entries are getting loaded, the SID numbers would be different. Like we should not read into this SID numbers or values. That is a system dependency. System generates those values.
So what is the value of this column SID? How is it going to help me with this traditional column?
No.
Like primary key, fine. I know it's been all of my records are been identified uniquely. But what the SID is helping me here?
No, SID is the internal mechanism which BI is using to store the values.
Okay.
So internally it is calling, like let us say it is a serial number. It is storing that this is the number this. So whenever you are referring 1088, system will not pull out 1088. It will pull out 5. Its own mechanism.
Okay.
Got it?
So this concept is different than the surrogate key concept which we have for dimensions, right?
Yeah.
It's not surrogate keys.
Yes, it's not surrogate keys. It is called as surrogate IDs. And in SAP, in only BI, you are finding this surrogate IDs concept. In other SAP modules, we will not have it. Okay. So I hope just understand one point that corresponding to a characteristic. Just go through my sentence. Corresponding to a characteristic value, we have an SID in the SID table.
Okay.
Corresponding to a characteristic value, we have an SID in SID table. Okay. Now I will ask one question. Like, will there be a case that characteristic value is there, SID is not there? Can that be possible? Or it shouldn't be there? That case shouldn't be there because system is dependent on SID internally to when we are working with any value. So compulsory for each value we need a SID. Can I say like that, or there may be case that when value will be there, SID won't be there?
Based on what you're saying right now, the SID is the way it is maintaining information.
Yes.
So if there is a value for characteristic, then there would be an SID.
Correct. Because internally you just understand that even though we are fetching report, I will say purchase order 1001, system internally is dealing with SID related to it. So compulsory and SID should be there. What happens is, for your understanding, what I can say is, whenever we load a value like into BW system, either we are maintaining in the table or when we are loading, during the loading, corresponding SID will be generated for the characteristic value. Sometimes we have loading failures. Okay. Why would be the failure is, in that case, SID would not be able to generate. The example would be, like if we are loading something called as this. like system in BW, we have the facility to tell that allow these values. Okay, even though they are junk values, they might be special characters in some case. So there is a mechanism in place which tells system to allow these values. But let us say that thing is not maintained in that. Like it is genuinely a junk value. So what will system do? It is unable to generate an SID for this, and there will be a loading error. Okay, so most of the errors when we are getting it is because loading errors is because SID could not be generated. I hope you remember this point of lowercase and uppercase. Do you remember that in the first tab we saw lowercase? What happens if I do not tick lowercase and load an lowercase value? Like if I load like this, what will happen? A and BC. If I load ABC, it won't be an issue. If let me just take you to that. This is the thing which I am talking. In the general tab, we are having the lowercase. If you recollect and tell me now, what happens if I have this tick mark and what happens if I do not have? In this case, if I do not have the tick mark, will it be an error or will it process?
If you have mark, then it will accept lowercase, right?
No.
If there's a tick mark.
Yeah, correct. Only if there is a tick mark, then only system will able to load this value. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Correct. So in such a case, when tick mark is not there, system will throw an error, right?
Uppercase.
Yeah, system will throw an error. We are unable to load. The reason why system will throw an error is it cannot generate the corresponding SID for this. Okay, so most of the cases wherever we are getting errors while loading characteristic values, it is because corresponding SID could not be generated. There might be other reasons also, but this is one of the reasons. Is this reason logical? Correct, right? Whenever we have issue, SID would not be generated, then only the error is coming. Can we conclude this? Is it correct? Yes, Sunil?
Repeat your question, please.
Yeah, what I am saying is we are talking about SID. Now I am saying that
Right.
if lowercase is there,
Uh-huh.
we are loading a lowercase value, but we have not enabled this tick mark.
Okay.
So will it allow to load into the system or will it cause an error?
It will cause an error because you're not telling the system that they're going to be lowercase values will be coming in.
Yeah, and the reason what it might be, it is not a junk value, it is not a special character, it is a proper value. The reason is corresponding SID could not be generated, right?
Okay.
If it was a correct value, system would have generated some SID, like
Right.
some 66 like this, right? Depending upon the random numbering, it would have generated some SID. But since it is small letter and capital letter, it is unable to generate the SID, right?
Right.
So we can say that
Without checking if lowercase letter checkbox, it should not generate error, right?
yes, Mamta, like what I am saying is if we if we do not have this checkbox, we are able
Yeah.
to load only the capital letters by default.
Mm-hmm.
If if by mistake we are having a lowercase like this, one lowercase
Okay.
or a combination, anything like all lowercase one. Whenever you have an instance of a lowercase, you should have this tick mark. Then only system will able to load.
Okay. By default, it will take only capital letters.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So this is the thing.
Then one
Yeah.
more question I have, Arvind.
Yes.
So if so many people are generating the orders,
Yeah.
so how the SID will generate? Is there unique
No, no. Like it is a random thing according to system. Like okay, we not worry about this SID. If you compare the SIDs for different things, like for this purchase order we are having some SIDs. For material we'll be having some SIDs. The numbers would be same, but internal mechanism would be different. So just don't worry
Okay.
about the numbers
Because
and yeah.
when we are right now we are creating, right, it's showing some order.
Yeah, that is
That is
what,
what
like
I
we
meant.
should not, some cases it would create some order, some cases random numbers.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So just understand that,
So, Arvind,
yes,
so I'm still struggling to understand the importance of SID. What is really its role in the extended star schema?
it will be, I will tell you that, Imran, but
Okay,
just let us go through these characteristics. Okay.
okay.
So, so today we have seen this SID part. Okay. Comfortable, I hope. Simple thing. Internal, there is a mechanism which the system uses to store. That's it. That numbers do not need to worry. Randomly system is generating that numbers. And one more thing is, most of the times whenever we get an error, it is because corresponding SID could not be generated. Fine. And moreover, we need not worry about the SIDs also. Around 2 billion SIDs can be generated within an SAP BW system. It has a capacity to generate 2 billion SIDs. Our data load volume might not reach 2 billion in any
Did you
company.
say billion?
Yeah, billion, yes.
Is it in that case that is SIDs are per record or is that per table?
No, per record, per entry, per characteristic value you can say.
Okay.
No, the overall thing you are saying the
Yeah,
2 billion.
it generates a unique value for every record.
I'm not sure about that. We cannot say that it generates a unique value. Like if you see the other table, let us see on any other table, then only then you will get to understand. Okay, let me open zero material. For zero material SID. Okay.
Otherwise, there'll be a problem, right? Like if for the customer ID I generate same SID, then how it will be
No, we are not
looking at
generating.
that?
No, we are not generating Imran. This is something
Right, the system has to generate a unique,
yeah,
right, for each material number.
this is something very internal to the system. It's not in our hands, or like it's not worth we going into such deep into this point. That is what I'm trying to say. It's random number, right? Okay, what we need to understand, one importance is corresponding to a value we have SID. If there is an issue, SID would not be generated. That basic understanding is sufficient. Okay. So that is about that. Now coming back to this master data table. So if you remember, did we go through this text table? Did we see this? Yes, right? If anyone remembers, like just tell me whether we have covered this or not. Yes, able to hear me. Just I'm asking you people that did we cover this text table? You remember this? Yes, right? So again, I will.
Day before yesterday's class that you did cover briefly about this one, but I'm not sure if you went more extended yesterday's class. I was not there.
No, no. Yesterday there wasn't a class, Sunil.
No, I understand that Friday there was a class
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Saturday there was a class,
In that,
right?
uh,
Right.
okay.
In Friday's class, that when we looked into info object,
Yes, yes.
that you did cover certain about attributes and then text and then master data. At the time, you did cover something about text as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know if you went any in depth after that
Okay.
because I was not there in Saturday's class.
Okay, okay. Okay. So this is the text table. So whenever we are enabling this with text, we are getting this text table. Further, what is the naming convention of this table? We need to be comfortable with this also, like /BIC, since it is a custom table, and /T, and then the info object name. Okay. Whenever common terminology, what we will talk, we will not talk this big name. We will tell T table. Okay, what are the values in the T table? What is the this thing? So we have seen this, like how the structure will be generated. If I have short text, my structure is having short text. My structure is having language because I put it as a language dependent. So it's all depends upon the structure. Okay, let us see this again. I would make it as a time dependent. Okay, let me activate this. What do you say with time dependent? What is your understanding based on time dependent, if anyone can tell? Yes, maybe Mamta, you can just try out. What do we mean by time dependent? What context we are using time dependent? Your understanding. I have not covered this, but just your common understanding.
Hierarchy or something?
No.
When
Time,
there is start and end it.
correct. Somewhat correct. Okay. So
Yeah.
something like if I am working in an organization, so let us say I am working since 2004. So I worked till 2011 as an SAP ABAP consultant. Now from 2011, from 2012, I am working and till present. I am working as a SAP BI consultant. So what is happening? My text, my description. Earlier it was an ABAP consultant. Now it is a BI consultant. So this is nothing but time dependency. Earlier this was this and this was this. If you correlate, we have women. Before marriage, their surname is different. So before marriage, if we are storing entries for people, for let us say more specifically women, before marriage, their surname is different. So the text is different. After marriage, the surname is different, text is different. So can I say text is time dependent? Can I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it depends, like how we classify the object. Some things, like this is an employee designation. It may be time dependent. Employee location, that is also time dependent. He might stay in US, UK. So some things are there which are time dependent. So as a part of that, text can also be time dependent. So these are the examples. So like you can say that designation is there. Earlier it was ABAP consultant, now it is BI consultant. So that is a time dependency. So now I have activated the table with the time dependency. You can see the difference in this. What is the additional columns you are rows you are getting if you closely observe? Can you just tell me? Earlier we were not having that, now we are having that.
From into.
Correct. So this is nothing but obviously whenever we are telling about time dependency,
From into.
correct. Whenever we are telling about time dependency, we need to
Date to and date from.
correct. So this thing. So this is the thing which we are getting. So whenever we are talking about time dependency, we need to have mention the period. So and so period to so and so period. So and so period to so and so. Okay.
So Arvind,
Yeah.
if we have a fact table where there's a bill to ship to, that is also time dependent.
Ship to
Like
is
order date, ship date, due date.
no, that is not time dependent. If you see the table also, we'll get to know that it is not time dependent. What you can generalize is whenever you are dealing with HR related HR module, we might pull any data into our system. Let it be SD, FI, MM. Specifically, if you are dealing with HR, you will find all time dependence. Other modules, it would depend, but for HR, blindly you can say that all are time dependent. HR means nothing but
So if the
employee.
customer move from one place to another place, that's also time dependent.
Yeah. So actually, what is the reason of maintaining this time dependency is whenever you run a report, you will get the value for the current period. Like as of now date, what is the present value? So let us say we have loaded these things in our system. We have this value and this value. So whenever now you run a report on my name, what would be the designation you are getting? Along with my employee ID, what would be the designation you get whenever you run a report? SAP BI or as an SAP ABAP?
SAP BWBI consulting.
Because it picks up from the
Right.
current period. Currently
Yeah, so
what
it's
it is.
so basically we are generating a history, right? Let's say
Yeah,
if you've been in 10 different places or 10 different
yeah,
roles, so you'll get all these 10.
yeah, correct. So now my current period, it is like I am in the current period. I am still in that designation only, and I am running the report for today's date, current date. So obviously it will show me SAP BI. Some people would be interested to know history. Since it is time dependent, what they would like to know is couple of years back, what was this person's designation. So when they run a report, they need to enter a value called key date. I'll just show you. Or I would just open any cube and show you. Okay. Yes. So, okay. Let us say I want to display the data in this. What are you able to see over here? Key date. What is the date system is taking? System date or today's date. So when like this only, whenever you run a report also, it will take the system date and display the output. Moreover, whenever we have this time dependency, we have the option of key date column. Separate box will be there, using which we can find out previous values. That is what I was trying to tell you. Okay, just understand this now. This key date and other things we would see during reporting, how it would be helpful. Like we would load two different values and see if we give a different thing, how it happens. Okay.
So when this time-dependent dates is something that is coming from, let's say, from ECC, the information is something getting directly loading into this place?
Yeah, correct. Obviously. Yeah, obviously. Uh, uh, Whatever source we have, they are also maintaining this time dependency. We are loading that time dependent. It's not that we are manually maintaining it.
So if it is text, so is there any mapping need to be done, or is that done automatically?
Like in this case, what will happen is from the source field, you will have that date to and date from.
Uh-huh.
So obviously,
Okay.
in the target, you will map to the corresponding date to and date from.
So it's like one-to-one relation on there.
Yeah, one to one. Nothing we are deriving. Everything is given from the source.
Okay. So this again depends on that whether my data that is coming from ECC or wherever my source data, Oracle or whatever it
Yes.
is, if the text is time dependent, that's when I need to choose that one. Otherwise, that it will be independent of that.
Yeah,
Time
correct.
independent.
Correct.
Okay.
So in that scenario only we will choose this as time dependent, and the structure will be like this. So you just need to understand that whenever we have time dependency, not only text, the main master data would also be time dependent. So
Right.
we just need to understand that date to and date from will be come. So now let us maintain a value in this and see what will happen. So this is called as a runtime error. Whenever you get these kind of errors, just rerun this transaction. Or if it is coming more times, I have told in the previous class that we need to go to ST22 to see the log, to understand what is the root cause for
I
the
think I
error.
have a question.
Yes.
This not exactly related with this, but the codes that you're entering, like RSD1,
Yes.
RSA1 and all,
Yes.
is there, it looks like there are so many number of codes. Is there any documentation available where we know that what code means what?
Yeah, correct.
If you
It's
have it,
a,
can you send that to us?
yeah, but like we are just dealing with these two at the moment. So
Right.
I feel it would be confusing for you because that would be an exhaustive list.
Okay, I understand, but in the
Yeah.
future, like whenever you feel that it would be good list to have.
Yeah, sure. And moreover, like I am writing it down whenever we are doing it. So maybe from your side, you can put down a note. You can make a blank page and note it down wherever you come across new T codes. Each class, like let us say tomorrow class you get new T code, make an entry. Okay, that would, you are in touch also in that way. And as you requested, I will send that. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And my this thing would also be not to force you so many T codes on you. Let us go with the normal T codes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Okay. Let we were discussing about this part, right? Time dependence. K0 this thing. What I was trying to say is, okay, maintain. So now my text table is a time dependent one. I need not go into the table also. I can see it from outside only. What is the property? If you are getting used to this thing, you are more flexible. You can say that short text would be there, time dependent. That's it. Date to date from will also be there. Okay. First entry, it is a blank one. Okay. So let us choose this one and maintain a text. Okay. What is system asking us? What was the text date to and date from. Okay, so date. You might further observe that what happened earlier. I was putting some ABC order, CDE order. Now nothing is there because the table structure got changed. So obviously the data is lost. So that is why system sometimes gives us a warning while changing anything, saying that you might lose data during conversion. Sometimes if it is a two very much different conversion, obviously data loss will be there, like in our case. So that's the thing you need to keep in mind. So for this purchase order, date. So what is this date to? The last value, valid from. So let us say from 2005. Okay. Or let me make it as an employee. You might confuse with this purchase order and dates. How come purchase order is having so many dates? So like let me make it Z REP ID, representative ID. Okay, sales representative, you can say sales representative ID. I'm creating a new one. So data type is char. Sales representative ID, let us put it as 5 digits. Let us maintain, enable text for it. Texts are language dependent. I don't want language dependent. I am entering only in English. So I want time dependency. Activate. So it would be more logical now. For a sales representative, what was his name? Department earlier. So maintain. Okay. So as you see, whether it is a time dependent or time independent, the table will have one blank entry. That is for system consistency. You cannot delete it. Further, what are you seeing? It is valid from 0101,000 to 31129999. So let us create a new entry. So sales representative ID SR101. When did he start working? He started working on 2001, let us say. He worked till 2010. Okay, what was his description? Sales, maybe sales representative. What can we give it as a description? Someone would suggest.
Department 1.
Department 1, right? Okay, good. Sometimes I need you people to help me out so that. Okay. So you
Battery
were.
is running low again.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. How many entries we made? One entry. How many entries now we are seeing? Leave alone the first entry. How many entries we are seeing? How many, Mamata? 3 or 4?
Three new ones.
It is a duplicate value is 2.
Yeah. So that is not a duplicate value. Now what we need to understand is, since it is time dependency, we have told that, okay, let me put this column before. What we have told from 2001 to 2010 is department 1. What system is maintaining is before that to the inception period, like system maintains from 0101,000. So what was the value? It is making an entry for that. Prior to this period, it is making an entry. After this period, it is making an entry. Since it is time dependency, it has to have a before entry and after entry. Before entry, maybe that person would be there in the organization or not, we are not sure. But the after entry is still working maybe in the department 2. Correct. Earlier his department was 1. Now he is in the department 2. So whenever we are having this time dependency, how to identify the latest record? The latest record can be identified whichever is having the two value as 31129999. So for this SR101, which is the latest record? This one or this one or this one?
2000,
The last one?
the recent record.
Yeah. And what is the basis for you to tell that?
The date?
So
Yeah.
valid from
Yes.
date to year, the to date.
Yeah. So we should always concentrate on the to date. Okay. The to date is because like we cannot say that when this person will leave the organization or this person would expire. Either things would happen. Either he would leave the organization, move to another department or expire. We cannot say. So that's why they are putting it as 31129999. So you need to find out this record which is having 31129999 and tell that this is the latest one. So now if I run a report on this for SR101, by default which entry I would be getting?
All of them.
By default. Just now we discussed a concept, key date. So when I first run a report, it will pick up on today's date. On today's date, what is this thing? This one, right? So it will show us this record. Okay, let me make it as a department change also. Then it would be more complete. Department. So then save it again. Okay, what I'm asking is if I'm running a report on this now, what would be the corresponding this thing, description for SR101?
Department 2?
The reason why you would justify?
Because of the key date, I mean the current date is falling between 2001 2010
Yeah.
and then the year 9999.
Yeah.
Since we are in 2012, that should be the date. That should be the record you are getting.
Yeah, correct. So that is what will happen. And if people who are into analysis work, top management, if they want to know he came from which department, how many years he worked in that, like if they want to know whether he will stay in this department for long or not, whether he will switch his job. So so many kinds of analysis they can do. So if they run a report on an earlier period, they will get the date as department 1. Fine. Or do you want me to demonstrate? If you want me to demonstrate, I will demonstrate, but you should not get confused. Given that promise only, I will demonstrate. You get confused, it will be problem.
So where the key date is stored?
Internally. In the...
Okay, so it is, the key date is always like latest date?
Yeah, correct. So just let me do that.
Okay.
Just try to understand, don't get confused by what I am doing. Just objective, you understand that what is happening. Okay. So let me open the query designer again. Right. Okay. Sometimes you are getting this locked by admin. You should always concentrate on the status messages. You should double click to see what is the resolution system gives. Sometimes it gives, sometimes it doesn't give. What is it giving? If it is, okay, it might be difficult for you to understand, read this and go through. To make it simple, what I will tell you is this representative ID, we have opened it somewhere else. Again, I am trying to open it. So system is saying that it is causing a lock. It should be open at only one place. Okay. So if you see, there is one transaction code. Okay. We have this SM12 to see lock entries. Yes. /o SM12. In real world, we are not allowed to delete any entries. We are just allowed to view the entries. But in demo systems, we are able to delete the entries as well. So are you seeing multiple entries for anything over here? Just observe this. Initial lines only you will get. Is there any multiple entries? This one, this one. For the same representative ID, I am having two entries and it is getting locked. At a moment, only one entry should be there. It should be open only once. Two people cannot access it. When the second time I am trying to access it, it is saying as a lock. A lock has been
The
generated.
table name is different, right?
Yeah, table name is the place where we are opening it. I am opening it in a, we are talking about the object.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we are talking about saying that object is locked. We should not, we can open the object only at one place. Only one person can deal with the object, right?
Yeah.
So while we are maintaining something, someone cannot maintain. So that's why we have this lock issues. So all these locks will be stored over
So
here.
you
Yeah, tell me.
so you have exclusive lock, right? E
Yeah,
and S like
yeah,
shared locks.
yes. So this is how we can confirm. But in a demo system, what we can do, we can delete the logs. Sometimes by default, like if I am logging off in between due to network issue and coming again, it will say as log. In those cases, maybe you can delete that. In real world, you should not delete. You don't have the authorization to delete logs in real world. Okay. So this is about the thing. Now let me, as I have deleted the logs, we can proceed further to see that dependency. Fine. So let me open the query design. Okay. So it would be a simple one. Just create a query. Okay, fine. So sales representative ID. Fine. This is what we'll get, sales representative ID. Fine. I'm saving it. It's a very basic which we are doing. What I am putting as the display mode, key as well as the text, whatever the value as well as the description, so that then only we can find it out. Fine. Okay, then save it. We are done with this. We have to open this, analyze it. Fine. So it is nothing but an Excel sheet. One additional tab will be there, add in tab. This you can choose, open the query, and whichever system you are connecting. First let me cross check what is the entry versions. Did it get saved or not? Unless I have it in the active version, there is no need for it. Okay, but just let me check it. I'll explain you what I was checking, but let me check it first. Everything is proper. So open the query. I can filter it based on the date. So today's date, this one I created, I can open that. So what would be the default value which you would get? Let us see that. Yes, what did you observe? Yes, Mamata, are you following? So what did you observe?
Yes.
This is what we were discussing, right? Key date. So by default, it will
Yes.
take the system date. You can say it as system date. We call it as side datum. Okay. Side datum. Side datum is nothing but the system date. Not today's date, not yesterday's date. Because it is a system date. Because to find out system date, you can click on this menu bar system. You can go to the status and see that. Okay, what is the date according to this? For me, it is 18th December. But the system date is still, it is in 17th and 5 minutes are there to make it as 18. Okay, so I cannot say it as purely date also. I should say it as the system date to be more appropriate. Okay. So that was about the key date. Fine. Now let us see something else. So this is related to this part, and we have covered this thing. So what we would do is, today we have done this SID table. So just go through this SID concept again. One thing again I am requesting is, don't worry about what is the SID number, whether it will be same or different. Just forget about it. It is, most cases it would be same. Like this number in this table you are having a number 5 for corresponding thing. In another table also you would have number 5. You should not bang your head on that. It's totally internal thing. Okay, someone has designed this system, so someone, it's internal stuff. So moreover,
Yeah,
what
what's the necessity of SID, Arvind?
system is maintaining,
The functionality of SID.
system is storing the values like that. Internally system is dealing with SIDs. When you are loading some values, system will create a corresponding SID and it will work on that SID.
Is there these SIDs needs any future references for
Yeah,
these records?
yeah, correct. In future also, when we are including them in a cube or a other objects, it will use this SID to link.
Oh, okay.
So it's make the master data independent.
Yeah, correct. So that one we saw, and we even saw this text table and this time dependency. So people who are having a system access and it is working fine, you can just go through the recording and maybe try out these two things. So you will also be hands-on. You can store some entry. Maybe there's report thing you cannot do because you need to, it would be confusing to show you to do this. But from the system point of view, you can try it out. Okay, and tomorrow we will see again this P table, M table, those again tables we'll cover. Okay, so I'll stop with this. So we'll meet tomorrow again.